Can the Flash get any dumber? What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Sibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Tonight we are talking episode 4 of The Flash season 7, and it's awful. So this is going to be a review, biggest takeaway, reactions to what has just degraded as a show. I'm Chris, that's Sid, and let's just dive right into it.
All right. Clearly, this was supposed to be the end of season 7, and it was supposed to launch us into the beginning of season 8. Now, we know that COVID interrupted them, and I would just like to die on that hill. COVID interrupted them. But The Flash has also been sucking for the last couple of seasons without COVID, so I don't know how much you can, use that.
Yeah, so that's not an excuse, and that's a horrible excuse to die on the hill of. There are plenty of shows that have come back from COVID and had decent storylines. Not fantastic, but this is horrible. I mean, it's genuinely bad, and the problem is two places primarily. Number one, the fact that the Speed Force was gone and now back in just a couple of episodes, totally erasing what they set up in the beginning of the season. And Wells, who also left in the first episode, is back again. It's dumb. There are no real stakes. Even at the end of this episode when Cecile died, everybody's like, oh, is she really going to be dead? No, I knew it wasn't going to happen. And that's why I'm having such a hard time liking this show right now.
Listen, I understand. I will not die on the hill for the writing of The Flash. It has been pretty bad for the last couple of years. But I love the cast so much. Actually, I only love the original cast. I don't really care for Allegra. Chester's okay. I don't even know who, like Ralph, okay.
I don't love any of it. I think Caitlin is the only character that I genuinely like at this point. Barry's okay, but the puppy-eyed, inexperienced boy child is getting old. Like, when is he actually going to be the cool Flash of the comics? Like, it's just not happening. And instead of looking to the source material for direction, they're just writing the same things over and over again.
The Flash on the TV show is never going to be the cool Flash of the comic books. That's not who this Barry is, But anyway, let's talk about the big things that happened in this episode to sort of like end season 7. So you have the lazy ending of Iris's storyline where pretty much she's like, I'm not coming out of the mirror. Barry's like, oh, yes, you are, and rips her out of the mirror. She's twitching on the ground, and then
she just wants to stare at the ceiling.
And then he sparks her with his electric love, and she's back to life. Like,
that was another dumb thing. Oh my goodness, you just brought up another thing that was so dumb. I'm like, okay, when she was convulsing, having her little whatever mirror madness, he touched her. I'm assuming he's the one who picked her up and put her there because everybody else was KO'd because Brainy Flash KO'd them all. So he touched her then, didn't seem to help. But and you're telling me that all this time he never touched her hand until just then?
He didn't touch her skin until just then. It's completely plausible. All right, anyway, I admit that that's bad. And I think it was kind of a disservice to Iris for her to be, like, just finding out about her powers and how, like, powerful she is in the Mirrorverse. And then for them to just be like, nope, we're done with that. We're moving on. Mirror Master cut off that power when she left, and that was the end of that. Which is kind of sad because for Iris's character, like, Candace Patton is always talking about how Iris is, like, not just the damsel in distress, but she's, like, a powerful woman. She's a reporter, blah, blah, blah. But in this episode, they really did just yank the rug from right under her. Like, they could have done something with her in the Mirrorverse, and they were just like, nah, we're done with that.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, this episode sees Mirror Master essentially quit, okay, at the end of the episode, instead of them defeating her. And they had this random thing where Cisco gets these gauntlets that give him his vibe powers back, which I always thought was a dumb move for them to take his powers anyway. I thought it made the show dumb. But, at the end of the episode, they didn't even defeat her. She just decided to stop. And I'm like, how many superhero shows? I mean, there are some, yes, but how many shows do you see this happen? I mean, one that comes to mind in DC is Wonder Woman 1984. Maxwell Lord essentially just decides to stop. I do not like this direction for DC.
Yeah, well, I think it's a very, like, Saturday morning kids cartoony thing where the bad guys kind of are just, like, they're just morally confused, and that's what makes them bad. And so when they realize what the right thing is to do, they choose to do that, which is, disappointing. It's like, we're adults, We want, I get it's DC, but it doesn't have to be Batman. But my goodness, we want a bad guy who wants bad things,
There you go. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I couldn't agree more. Like, since, like, villains are villains, they're supposed to be bad. They're supposed to not have hearts, you know, and they always try and
Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
I can
gonna
hear
hang
you.
up and
No,
just
I
call
can
back.
hear you. Sydney. Sydney. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay. Anyway,
It caught up.
Okay, all right.
I can hear you.
I told you this Wi-Fi sucks. Anyway, no, I really couldn't agree more. Since when were villains? When does every villain have to have some kind of morality? Then you're essentially saying nobody's actually a villain. Everybody's just either good or confused. Like, what is that?
Yeah, I thought that was lazy, and it's like, I get it, one of the big appeals about The Flash is that it is a family show. Like, they really did a lot of hard work on developing Barry and Joe and Iris's relationship and how family is important in those first couple seasons. And we like that. We don't have a problem with that. But when it just seems like they're just taking it too far now. Like, for Barry to run towards love and love will fix all. I was just like, I mean, it's a little lazy.
But even then, it wasn't about all this running toward love and like all this emotional victories and stuff like that. There was a real Savitar who stabbed Iris. There were real stakes, and when people died, you thought it was semi-permanent, and then they would bring in Wells. But just like after 7 seasons of this, they need something fresh. I'm so tired of the same thing. I'm sorry, because I'm a fan of DC, you know that, and Marvel as well, but this is so tired.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think that the choices for this episode were bad, obviously, but I am hopeful for the official start of season 8. We should be getting Godspeed. Godspeed is not a good guy in any way, so hopefully they won't like turn him into one, like, and make him have some sort of
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Like, I don't know. I'm still hopeful, guys. I love The Flash. See, with TV shows, Christopher and I are diehard fans, and as soon as they get like a little bad, Christopher's out. Like, he quits. I, however, hold on for as long as humanly possible, and I feel like that wrestle is starting to happen with The Flash.
Listen.
Actually, it's been happening for a while.
I'm not out. I'm not leaving. I still watch The Flash, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to call it like I see it. If it sucks, it sucks. And ladies and gentlemen, so far this season has sucked. It's very, very bad. It's barely watchable. It is only my fandom that is keeping me watching this.
Also, in this episode, we get the return of Wells, which was the being that we saw at the end of the last episode. And it's just so disappointing because last week's episode was so good. And it had us all hyped up and psyched, ready for The Flash. And then just like, what a letdown, man. Boom, he's the original Wells, and he's gonna go back now and live with his wife over and over and over and over and over again until he dies. Like, what a lazy way to write that. It's like, it's an open ending. He could come back, but like, probably not.
No, not he could come back. He will come back. If there's one thing we know in this show is that Wells is never gone. But I did want to talk about the return of Ralph. They got a mask on him.
Yeah.
They don't really want to show his face. Even when they saw him, he was melted. As you guys know, he had some controversy regarding some tweets, and so the show actually let him go. So I guess they still want to incorporate his character in some way, but they literally put a Daft Punk helmet over his head, and the stupidity continues.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's kind of like, I don't know. I know that what happened with the actor, whose name escapes me, wasn't planned, so Ralph just kind of disappeared, and I guess that's how they were trying to close off his storyline. The best way to do that was like to have this weird, terrible cameo. But we know we'll never see him again, so there's that.
Anyway, guys, disappointing ending to a disappointing show thus far. I'm hoping that Sydney's right.
But keep hope alive!
Not holding my breath. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for our takeaways review of episode 4 of The Flash season 7. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Give me some hope, guys. Talk to me. Leave a like, subscribe, click the bell. Don't forget, it's a big week.
Sense into him.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Superman and Lois coming later tonight, as well as obviously the Snydercut, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Keep it locked here. Subscribe, click the bell, leave those notifications on because videos will be coming pretty much all week. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm Chris. That's it, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.